I'm usually a pouch guy for EDC, but I was in the store the other day and I decided to pick up one of these guys. So you know what that means. What's going on, everybody? This is Lamar with MFN Research, and today I'm going to take my hands at the Urban EDC Tin. You've seen them all over YouTube. They are done pretty much by everybody. I thought they were stupid, so I wanted to see if I would change my mind by giving one a shot and testing it out a little bit to see what I think. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go through kind of a behind the scenes and let you see how I organize when I'm putting the kit together. Then from there, we're gonna load the stuff that I select into the tin. And then what we're gonna do is compare it to an EDC pouch and look and see which one really is the best way for holding your small urban EDC goods. So first, let's go to the table and let's look at everything that I'm considering for this EDC loadout. This is what I do when I build pretty much any kit that I build, or a backpack loadout or anything like that. I start with just everything that I think might work and then kind of select down based on what I think I need. So there's a lot of stuff on the table. All of it's obviously not going to fit in here. So what we're going to do is go through it pretty quickly and kind of tell you what my thought process is behind it. So after that, we'll do the down select. I'll show you everything that made it inside. And then from there, we'll just talk about what stayed and why. So without further ado, let's move the Altoids Tin over to the corner, and then we'll just start with what's close in front of me. So this is kind of like your cleaning wiping section. I like these, just the sanitizing wipes. They work pretty good. I've been a big fan of these lately, so that's why I thought about adding maybe just one of these in, but the space is a concern. Just a microfiber towel, just to wipe stuff, glasses, things like that, screens. Thought about that. Tide to go for the stains. Everybody gets stains all the time. And then the foaming soap sheets, wash your hands, all that good stuff. This is what I like about that. And I kind of have everything organized kind of by use case, but there's some differences here and there. This is the Altoids tin that I built a while ago. You guys seen this in another video or two. I think the Alpaca Hub Pouch Pro is where I put this together. And it's just got some Tylenol, some allergy meds, and some actual Altoids. So I thought about maybe sticking this in here, so we'll see what I decide on that. And then that's all this stuff. We can move that off the screen. So then some earplugs. Love earplugs. I use them all the time. Need them for work sometimes. Need them for just different stuff. So thought about maybe some of those. Alcohol prep pads. These aren't in enough kits. I think you should have some of these. Just a couple Band-Aids, just a regular Band-Aid, basic plain Band-Aid, and then the cool design Band-Aid. Gotta have those just in case somebody needs a Band-Aid. And then we've got these are Salon Pause patches. I've never seen these in the kit before. I get aches and pains. Shout out to, life of a dad, motorcycle injuries, all kind of fun stuff. Just living life, being in my 40s. So these help out with the aches and pains. So maybe those will go in there. So let's move all that stuff off the screen. So we'll just go, let's see, where do we want to go next? Writing stuff. So this is the Big Idea Design mini pen. This is the Polka pen. This is, I forgot what it's called exactly, but it's similar to this. This was in my CountyCom haul, and it does the same kind of idea. It just posts as a pen. And then this one's a little bit bigger than this one, but this one has a glow fob on the top. So that's kind of a cool thing. And then this is just a little Zebra mini pen, and then Write in the Rain notebook. So some of there is going in there. So then let's just go here. So going up next, I like these little Velcro cable ties. Just keeping one of those rolled up could be handy. Hair tie, have a daughter, have a wife, they have hair. This will come in handy. If you've ever lost a button at work or somewhere, you know why I've got this. So needle, thread, little kit, this might go. Some zip ties with some shrink tubing on there. You always need zip ties, and just some mini zip ties. And I don't know if I need this many, but zip ties. You can always use zip ties. And then some micro cable in another shrink tube. So just, I think it's maybe, I don't remember how much. I just pulled some off and just put some in here. So something like this may go. And then let's go right in front of me. So let's pull this stuff in here. So some tech stuff, mini SD card reader with a little mini SD card. I might use this or the kit that I have in my wife's tech EDC. I might replace it with that, switch out with her and take her little thing. I'll show you B-roll of that just so you can see what that looks like. So I may decide on that. for my storage, just, you know, little files, things like that. Or I might even go with this guy right here. This is a little more flat. So one of these two might go in there for your storage needs. And then as far as USB-C cables go, maybe this USB-A to USB-C that I don't know where I got it from. They come in kits all the time, flashlights, different kits, different things. Everything comes with the cable. So something like this or this cable, you've seen this a ton of times. I love this little guy. Fast speeds as far as data transfer, fast speeds as far as charging. Doesn't take up much space, but it is USB-C to USB-C. And while I like USB-C all the things, it may be easier to get stuff to charge that out in the field. So now some of these little tool things, and we'll just do those and save my favorite category to think about last. Get this in here too. And so, like I said, rapid fire round, Gorilla Glue, pill organizer, maybe, a safety whistle, a little level, a little mini knife. Did a review on these little guys. They come in handy from Key Unity, real thin, real small profile. If I want to go even thinner, just a little utility blade, that's small too. Cigar fan, so a mini cigar punch. So that could possibly go in there. Some scissors, potentially. Some nail clippers, the Mr. Green nail clippers. These might go in there. Some tweezers. Always a fan of tweezers. There's different tweezers out there. These come in a 2-pack. I actually find the bigger set to work a little better, but for the sake of size, I'll go with these small ones. A Night Eyes S-Beaner. You never know when you're gonna need that. Hold some pants together, hold your shirt together, hold your kids' clothes together, hold some shoes together. So something like that, hold your keys. Tons of uses to have this with some of the cable options potentially. Maybe if we have space, this little mini pry bar, small little scraper, a little flathead screwdriver with a bottle opener. I'm never gonna use the bottle opener on there. So this may be something we have in there as well. These, I think I'm saying this right, a Fresnel lens. Primarily I bought these because of the straight edge when I'm using for my notebooks. Have a couple ideas for that, but they also have other tools. You can use it as a magnifying glass. You can also use it as a fire starter. So the multi-functionality is a good idea to keep something like this, and it takes up no space. So that's pretty cool too. Then I didn't add this, but I found this in here, one of those little card multi-tools in there. Had one of these, so this could potentially go in there. And then going through the two multi-tools that I'm deciding on, I was gonna add the SOG power plant in there, but that's not going in there. It's gonna be one of these two. Gerber dime, I don't use it. We've talked about that. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is nice and small. So that may be something to consider. And then the next tool, Mini Sailor. I like this one. Definitely a lot better than this one. It's my second favorite small multi-tool after the SOG power plant. Have a video comparing these two. But I'm thinking about upgrading this one. So this would be nice to go on a backup 10 since I may upgrade to the new one in the future. So debating on those two. And then the category that I thought about the most was the flashlight. And so I think I had it down to these four. So I think this one, just looking at space and size considerations, this is probably the best pick. However, it's the newest one. I still want to spend some more time with that. The philosophy of the 10 that I'm using is going to be one that's kind of a backup, set it and forget it. So with that use in mind, I'm trying to decide if I want to put this flashlight in there and maybe get another one. So this one has been with me for years. It's the copper Robivon. It's lost the cover on it and everything. It's USB micro. So this one could potentially go in there. I may even leave this on as a bonus. You never know when you might need a magnet. And just a little bit bigger is the EDC-01 by Lumitop. I've got a ton of these, so wouldn't be too bad if I put one somewhere for a kit. And then the Olight IR2 is the second smallest one. It's probably the leading contender, so this is the one that I may be thinking. So now that we've gone through rapid fire of everything that I may be continuing, I'm gonna go through now, figure out what I'm gonna do, and the next thing you're gonna see is a time lapse of me trying to put it all in the case. right, now through some trial, some error, some switches, some changes, we got everything in here that I think I'm gonna get in here. So let's take a look at what I put in here. So first, let's go over what I wanted to go in here that didn't go in here. So the multi-tool didn't go in, the zip ties didn't go in, but I could cut these down and probably fit these in there, and the salon pots didn't go in there. So out of everything else that I fit in here, I pretty much got some representation of what I wanted to put in here, and I've already seen while testing it out a couple things that I want to add to it, starting with a Ranger band on the outside. So on the outside, we've got the hair tie to hold it together, keep it in place, because you know how these things are. They are packed pretty tight. So let's just go inside and show you what I got. So popping it open, right on the top, we have just a couple sheets of the Write in the Rain paper. I wanted to do the whole thing, but it just took up too much space. And by using the front and the back of both sheets, that should give me enough for what I need. And then I've got the Fresnel lens. I had to take it out. I hope I'm saying that right. I think it's Fresnel lens. If not, let me know in the comments how to say it. I'm all up for correction. So this is in here. I had to take it out of the container to save some space, and that's fine with me. So I got the little poker pen. I always want to say Posca pen because my daughter uses those, but I put this in here. The reason why I picked it over any of the other pens is because it's small, it posts as a full-size pen, and I like that, and it's lightweight. So definitely went with that. One thing that nobody ever puts in their Altoid tins is Altoids. I feel like as respect to the container, I'm gonna put some Altoids in mine. I could have probably with a few less, but Altoids made it in mine. And then the USB-A to C cable. This one in there, nice and small. Almost went with the C to C, but I feel like there are more charging bricks out there in the wild where I could use this one. So that's what I went with. I went with the micro cable just because I felt like with the micro cable, I could get by. And I actually meant to put this in here. I forgot to put that in there. We'll see if it fits, but I meant to put that in there too because I think I had a little spot in the corner where that could go. So between the micro cable and this, I don't feel as bad about losing my zip ties and not putting those in here. So when I try to put it all back in there, I'll see if I can get that in there too. I went with this flashlight. While the Nightcore Tiny 3 was a smaller light, I've had more time using this light than the other one. So I just want to spend some more time with that one. And like I said, this is going to be like a backup kit to go somewhere. So I think I'd rather have that like that. So then I went with the SD card in the adapter just because it's nice and thin. I'm not 100% sure on this one, so I may change my mind on that one or may ditch this particular thing altogether. But right now, that's what I went with. Got a little baggie of some Tylenol and some Zyrtec just to keep the allergies and the pains away. Then I've got a compressible wipe. I don't know if I went over those initially, but I went with a compressible wipe, and I'll use that with something else to get rid of some of the other things that I thought about bringing. S-Beaner, needle and thread, although I could put a bigger safety pin in here and save a little space from getting rid of that. But for right now, I like these two together. So we're gonna do that. I've got the tweezers. I've got the little pry bar slash flathead slash scraper. And then I've got the clippers that I have in here. So I felt like between these things, I get most of the function that I would get out of the mini multi-tools. I don't have the mini plier, but I've got pretty much anything else that I would need from this small kit, save for one thing, and this will fix that, and that's just the small utility blade. So I think by ditching the multi-tool and saving the space, I got most of what I need. I don't have pliers, but hey, you gotta sacrifice some stuff with these small kits. And then a couple Band-Aids. Instead of hand sanitizer or anything, I went with the foam and soap sheets and just put, I think 10 of them are in here in a little baggie, folded up, and then some alcohol prep wipes. So we got everything in there, and that's all that fit in here. I felt like that's successful. So now we'll talk about what it's like in a pouch. And so without trying too hard, plenty of room to spare. I have everything in the pouch. Yes, the pouch is a little bigger, but just to show you why, the pouch does have plenty of space in here. I could have almost fit everything on one side if I really wanted to be creative between this side and in here. I could have fit everything in here. I didn't use this loop. I put a lot of stuff in there, and that's it. And then some versions have something on the back, so Didn't even use that. So a pouch definitely gives you more opportunities. I could even add that stuff that I wanted to put in there and could go in there. So that is one thing when you're looking at a pouch versus an Altoid tin, and that's why I'm team pouch most of the time. But we will talk about the pros and the cons a little bit. Okay, so now that we've got everything out, we've got the Altoid tin, we've got the pouch, let's talk a little bit about them. I think that the tin, one thing that's pretty cool about it, it's just discreet. You can have this out, nobody's gonna really think about it until they ask you for an Altoid. This guy right here, on the other hand, you're gonna know that something's in here that somebody might want. I do like the fact that these are cheap. A few bucks, you've got something to store your EDC, and it's got a little bit of crush protection, so that's pretty cool as well. I think it does a really good job of some of those small things, and I like that. This is a great, to me, backup kit or something that you nest in another kit. So if you've got like one of those bigger pouches, this can be one of those loops in one of those bigger pouches, like something from VanQuest or Maxpedition or something like that. Or check out my Platy video. This can go inside a Platy, no problem. And I think that might actually be a good idea for that. So one thing is, as you saw, the space is limited. You don't have a lot of good organization. Everything's just kind of in there. You kind of have to play Jenga every time you want to take something out. If you need something from the bottom, it's going to be a little bit annoying. So this, I think, does a better job of weatherproofing than this does straight out the box. So that's something that you have to worry about as well. And I think this just gives you more for a very similar footprint. I think the big thing when looking at the pouch is the fact that once you open it up, as you saw, you can see everything, you can access everything. So if I needed a Band-Aid that would have been at the bottom, I can get to it pretty quick compared to having to take everything out. When I'm done, put everything back. And I like that as well. And it does cost a little more, so got to be mindful of that. But I do feel that when you have small stuff, I do feel that the Altoid tin, when you have little stuff like this right here, I think the Altoid tin does a better job keeping that in line than something like this. So if you got just nothing but really, really tiny, tiny, tiny small stuff, then an Altoid tin. Like I said, Altoid tin inside the Platy would be a winner right there. So that might even be something I try. Might take all this stuff and load it in my Platy going forward. So be on the lookout for that if I try that. So now, after thinking about it, did trying out an Altoid tin change my mind? Not completely. I don't think they should be a mainstay in your EDC. I think they should be maybe a backup, something that maybe sits in a bag and never goes away. You put it in your car or something like that. But I don't think an Altoid tin should be sitting in your pocket day in and day out. If you do that, no judgment, rock it how you like it. I'm cool with that either way, but not for me. I still think the pouch is the way to go for EDC, but as a secondary backup type thing, it's changed my mind. I can see the utility in it. So do you carry an Altoid tin for Urban EDC, or do you have one as a survival EDC tin? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you will put in there. So a couple things I may add is maybe one of those cars from Earthling EDC, put some hook and loop on the top or something to give me a little more functionality. I mentioned the Ranger bands and some glow tape on the bottom. So that's probably what I would do to change it out. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing maybe the upgrades or picking up one of those County Com tins that are a little bit bigger and maybe trying one of those as a dedicated Altoid tin or something like that. I could put my Altoids back in here. So let me know what you think. As always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. There's videos on the screen. Don't forget to like, leave a comment, ask any questions you want, and subscribe to MF and Research for more fun EDC videos. I'm out.